Okay, I'm gonna give my take on the January 6th videos. Now, I could literally talk about the January 6th shit for like 200 literal hours and still not cover 1% of it. Okay, that's how in depth this whole discussion is. Okay, and there's some people that I follow on social media that were there on January 6th. Not in the Capitol, but outside the Capitol. And I'm obviously not gonna give their names. Now, I heard fairly recently that on January 6th, the Capitol building was closed to the public. Okay? Now, if the Capitol is closed to the public, that means no civilians can come in. Now, if you are an employee of the Capitol, any employee, even if you're the fucking janitor, you have an obligation to kindly tell anyone coming in that the building is closed for the day and they cannot enter. Now, obviously, that might not be easy when guys are breaking windows and climbing over the threshold, but if you're the janitor and you're walking around the corner and you see 5 guys standing there, okay, when the guys came in, because there were some people that act like absolute fucking animals, knocking shit over, breaking shit, and I can't defend that. I just can't. You're breaking property. I can't fucking defend you. Even if you are a Trump voter, I can't defend breaking property, period. But once the doors were open, a whole bunch of guys filtered in, and there's video footage of guys walking around peacefully. Okay, and employees, which includes Capitol Police, are just letting them walk by. Now, I personally believe that 9 out of 10 guys, not the guys breaking the windows, 9 out of 10 guys that you saw walking around the Capitol peacefully, if you walked up to them and said, I'm an employee, we're close to the public, you gotta come back later or tomorrow, I think most would have left. Okay? Every employee has an obligation to tell a civilian, you're in the wrong area, you shouldn't be back. I'll give you an example. Our base. Our base is actually my old high school campus. The campus was closed in 1980, and after several years of thought and renovation, it became the Justice Center in 89. What they did was they took the back 80% of my school and turned it to dust and rebuilt the courthouse and detention center over there. Detention center is a couple of cells for mostly guys that are being arrested and waiting to go to a county jail or coming down for trial for the city court. Okay, it's not a major fucking jail. It's a small vet jail. Okay, the jail is smaller than a floor on a apartment building. Anyway, the front part of the building is the original building. It's like the original 20% of my school. They gutted the inside, left the shell intact. One utility room is intact, and one stairwell is intact. That entire area is open to the public. Now, one time I'm going in front of the building and I saw a guy going in which is the front entrance to my school, but now it's the front entrance to the police headquarters. This is the main headquarters, not the precinct. He opens the door, tries to hold the door for me. And I ran over and said, I'm going in the other way. I have to go to another part of the building. But then I said, wait a minute, grab the door, get out. If you are reporting a crime or asking for police protection, you can ring the bell and have a detective escort you in. But if there's no detective escorting you in, you can't go in the building. The door had been unlocked for some reason, and he innocently thought he had to go there. I said, no, you're not talking to a detective, you're not being escorted by a detective, you gotta go around this way. You have to go to this door here. And I went to my car, put my gear away, came back, I had dressing off my fiscal office, went in the building, saw the guy on the 3rd floor in the public area. He was talking to the DA's office, which is all public. And I said, I told one of the detectives, the door's unlocked, they're gonna address that problem. You're not in trouble, not a big deal. Another time I was literally in that same exact spot, leaving the bathroom. A woman came out of the elevator and tried to walk down the hall to to my boss's office. I said, oh, where you going? Gotta see the chief, the commissioner. Her car was stolen or impounded or something about her car. No, you have to talk to the DA's office first, and they'll either go down there for you or with you, or have him come to you, or have a representative come to you. You can't go down there. That's a restricted area. In fact, the sign says authorized personnel only. Of course, I'm authorized, please, but okay, no problem. So most guys make mistakes. And there were several times I would go there and the building would be closed because the holiday, the court's celebrating, but I gotta work. And I would be going in, I have to have a detective buzz me or something like that. I'm like, dude, I gotta go use the bathroom. I'm allowed, I'm authorized. It's close to the public, you can't come in here. Go upstairs, piss, come back down. I said, listen, I can't, even if I want to leave when I can't, I'll get fired. Okay? So on January 6th, you had guys coming into the building, and the Capitol Police, whose job it is to enforce the law, they're letting them in. Now, A, the Capitol Police are not telling them, the building is closed today, please leave. And I guarantee you 90% of them would have left. And if they didn't leave, then say, I've already told you once, you're not authorized to be here because it's a closed session for today. You can't come in here right now unless you're an employee or some shit. Now, I'm telling you now, if you don't leave, you will be arrested. Guarantee the remaining guys would have left. And for the one guy out of 100 that says, fuck you, cuff him. That's all. You're a fucking federal officer. What the fuck are you doing? It might not be reasonable to talk to guys and being bum rushed. I understand that part. But the guys walking in the halls, tell them flat out, you gotta get the fuck out of the building. So at one point, you got guys being arrested and charged with trespassing at the Capitol because the building was closed that day. Okay, fine. How about the federal agents that were letting them walk around? They didn't search them, let them walk around. In some cases, they gave them guided tours, and in some cases, they invited them into restricted areas. The main Capitol room, the main meeting room, what the they call it, okay? Or the back offices, they've actually let them back there, some of them. Now, if my boss came to work one day and saw me giving a fucking guided tour in the back rooms, especially when the building is closed, he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He'd be like, out of respect for your mother, I'm going to close my eyes and count to 10, and if you don't get them the fuck out, you're fired. That's what my boss would tell me. My boss would tell me flat out, you open the fucking door, because someone let you in, because you're authorized to be here, for whatever reason. You came in the building's closed today, and then you saw a whole bunch of civilians, you let them into the building, and now you're giving them a guided tour of the restricted areas on top of that. I'm going to close my fucking eyes, you're going to get them out of my building, okay? Okay? And then when I open my eyes again, you're going to get my fucking office. And I would have a fucking major right up this fucking dick. So those fucking Capitol Police that are letting guys walk around the building, they got to sit down with them and they got to fucking tell them flat out, listen, you did an infraction. You did not once attempt to tell them to leave the building. You let them in the back rooms. Okay? You're suspended for 5 days without pay. Okay? All the cops, the federal agents, they didn't even attempt to get guys out of the building. Okay? 5 days suspension, no pay. The guys that went into the back room areas, 10 days, no pay. Okay? The guys you're tracking down, have agents sit down with them and tell them the building was closed and you went inside you weren't supposed to. Yes, the Capitol Police invited you. Yes, they walked you through the back rooms and we're dealing with that too. But for your sake, you made a fucking mistake. Now, we're going to document that we spoke to you. Okay? You're going to sign this form. Doesn't say you're guilty. Doesn't say you're innocent. And if you want a lawyer to read it, you can have a lawyer read it. But you're going to sign this form telling us that you understand that. And if you do it again, you're being arrested. That would have solved 99% of the problems. Now, as far as the guys that actually broke the fucking law, that actually broke windows, broke doors, knocked shit over, stole shit, okay? As far as those fucking guys are concerned, okay? You arrest them, you bring them to court, and you arraign them, okay? You don't leave them in the fucking city jail for a year or more. They have guys in the city jail in D.C., okay? And they're there for over a year and a half, in some cases 2 fucking years. And no trial date set. Okay, I don't give a fuck if you're Ted Bundy. I don't give a fuck if you're Terry Nichols. I don't give a fuck if you're Tim McVeigh. I don't give a fuck if you're Charles Manson. You are an American citizen, and you are entitled to a fair trial. It doesn't matter what you did, literally. It doesn't matter if you killed babies. It doesn't matter if you bombed a building. If you are an American citizen, you are entitled to a fucking trial. Period. Period. Okay, you got fucking Somali pirates who took fucking hostages in a foreign country. They were given a fucking trial. I want you to think about that for a minute. You literally had the Somali pirates from the Captain Phillips incident. One of them was arrested, read his Miranda rights, and put on trial, even though he was a foreign national committing terrorism in a foreign country. Okay? You literally had a guy, when 9/11 first happened, he was already in the Middle East, already converted to Islam, okay? He had joined Al-Qaeda. He had knowledge of 9/11 beforehand. He met Osama bin Laden face to face, and he was arrested while engaging with U.S. troops. He was given a trial. But you're going to sit here and fucking tell me that American citizens who broke doors and windows don't get a trial? They need to be released, not because they're innocent. How many times in this country's history have we had people go to court and be released, not because they're innocent, because the process wasn't followed, okay? You've had cops that have beat confessions out of people. You've had cops that have put evidence on people. You've had DAs that have not given evidence to the defense attorney. And the defendant is released even though he is visibly guilty, because the judge cannot even allow the trial. The judge's job is to make sure that the defendant has a fair trial. So if you have a cop being confession on the defendant, if you have a cop getting evidence on the defendant, if you have the DA hiding evidence, okay? There's a movie called Eye for an Eye, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Sally Field. Yes, Sally Field. Watch this movie. Sally Field practices the Second Amendment and recites self-defense law. Okay? Kiefer Sutherland rapes and murders a 17-year-old girl. Okay? And the DA says he did it. The DNA says he did it. Now, the prosecutor in the case had promised the defense attorney a sample of evidence for their own scientist, okay? And that piece of evidence was eaten up during their experiments. Before the case hit the court, that prosecutor was reassigned and another prosecutor came in, because the DA sits behind a desk and he has 1,000 guys prosecuting the cases for him, okay? The DA is like the police commissioner. The prosecutor is like the cop, okay? The big man behind the desk and the little guy doing the actual work, okay? Now, they switched DAs. They switched ADA. They switched prosecutors. And the new prosecutor didn't know about the promise to give the defense that bit of evidence. And the judge said, because they were not given the piece of evidence, I have to dismiss the case. And even though the DNA said Kiefer Sutherland was the killer, the judge had to dismiss it. Now, obviously, that's a fictional movie, but in real life, in the real world we live in, if the defense asks for evidence, that evidence must be given. You've seen my cousin Vinny. Okay. I know, really. Okay? Whether it's a witness, whether it's fingerprints, video footage, DNA, any evidence at all that the DA has must be given to the defense attorney. Most of the time, the defense attorney will ask for it. Sometimes the DA just says, here you go. Okay? And the defense attorney will sit down with the defendant and say, I found a hole. One of the witnesses against you has a conviction for perjury. I'm going to raise that issue. Or the witness saw someone that doesn't fit your description. Or they have no DNA, they have no fingerprints. I got a chance at this. When I plead not guilty, I got a chance. Or the defense attorney comes in and says, listen, you're on camera, the cop got you at the scene, and they got your fingerprints. I can't help you. Let's plead down. Okay? You're looking at 5 years in prison. Plead guilty, I'll give you 18 months. You'll be out in a year. Okay? But the defense attorney has to have that evidence. So it doesn't fucking matter if they got guys on camera breaking windows, breaking doors, shoving into fucking stealing shit. Okay? It doesn't matter. What matters is that they're sitting in jail without being given a trial, and what matters is that the defense attorneys are not getting the evidence they're requesting. That's what matters. So they got to be released from jail, not because they're innocent, but because the process wasn't followed. Okay? And the Supreme Court's got to get involved in this. Okay, thank you.